King Roderick of Varythia was no ordinary ruler. Known as the Fox of the Throne, he had built his kingdom not with brute strength, but with cunning wit and a sharp mind that outplayed even the shrewdest of adversaries. Yet time proved to be the one enemy he could not deceive. His once golden hair had turned silver, his hands, once steady as a swordsman's, now trembled with age. And so, as the years wore on, whispers filled the halls of his castle, whispers of his approaching end and of the power struggle that would follow. Of all his courtiers, none knew him better than Felix, the jester. Dressed in motley and jingling bells, Felix was more than a mere entertainer. He was the only soul in the entire kingdom who dared to speak freely to the king, their nightly games of wit and riddles serving as the last sanctuary of Roderick's quick mind. One evening, beneath the flickering torchlight of the royal chamber, Felix found the king in his high-backed chair, staring at the grand chessboard before him. The pieces were set mid-game in a complex arrangement. "You summoned me, your majesty?" Felix asked, bowing low, though his grin never wavered. Roderick gestured to the board. "A game, Felix. One last game." Felix raised a brow. "Your majesty plays every night. Why does tonight feel different?" The king sighed. "Because, my dear fool, the real game is ending. My council is hungry for my crown. The lords scheme like vipers in the dark. When I am gone, my son is doomed, for he has the heart of a poet, not a king. He will not last a year." Felix frowned. "So you mean to sit idly and let the board topple?" Roderick chuckled, but there was no mirth in it. "Idly? Oh, I shall play my final move." And so the king and his jester played their last game. Roderick's mind, though weary, moved the pieces with sharp calculation. The match lasted hours, each move echoing with hidden intent. Felix, a keen player himself, could see the strategy unfold, but something felt off. The king was playing to lose. As dawn's first light filtered through the chamber's stained glass windows, the game reached its end. Felix, with one final move, declared checkmate. The king let out a breath of satisfaction. "Well played," he murmured. Felix, now uneasy, studied the king's expression. "You wish to lose, your majesty. But why?" Roderick leaned forward, his aged eyes gleaming with mischief. "Because, my dear Felix, it is the greatest trick of all, to appear weak when you are strong. While the lords squabble, believing me spent, I shall reveal my true hand." The jester tilted his head. "And what, pray tell, is that hand?" Roderick smirked. "You." Felix blinked. "Me." "Felix, you have danced in court for years, listening, watching, laughing as fools do, but only I have ever known the sharpness of your mind. You will go to my son. Guide him. Teach him the ways of deception and wisdom, of wit over war. You will be the whisper in his ear, the hidden dagger against the throats of his enemies." Felix was silent. He had always been a fool, a performer, a shadow among nobles. To be entrusted with the future of Varythia itself? It was madness. And yet, looking at the aged king, the weight of mortality in his gaze, Felix knew the Fox of the Throne was not asking. Roderick clasped Felix's hand. "A jester is the only man in court who can speak the truth and not lose his head. That is a power no noble can match." Felix hesitated, then slowly smiled. "And here I thought you summoned me for a jest." Roderick chuckled, but his grip tightened. "This kingdom is my final jest. And you, dear Felix, are my punchline." 3 nights later, King Roderick passed away in his sleep. The lords of Varythia descended like vultures, ready to feast upon the throne. But as they turned their greedy eyes toward the young prince, they failed to notice the shadow standing at his side, the jester whose bells jingled with every step, whose painted smile never wavered. The game had only just begun.